Well, my friends, it is a pleasure to have you with us today here. So, one of the big things that I've been getting asked a lot lately is about the studio. And I have friends from different places. So, some people are connecting through Zoom, some people are connecting through Facebook Live. And what I'm going to be doing today is that I'm going to be showing you all the different pieces for the studio, and you don't need them all, but you may get some ideas for this. So that's why this is called tech lunch. Not that I'm lunching, like get your plate of food, get your cup of coffee. So I have my cup of coffee here, and I'm gonna show you each piece of tech that I am leveraging. So the first thing is that you see that this camera is static, but it's actually not. This is my iPhone. So as you're getting, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna give you a back seat to the whole thing of everything that we have. So from the cameras, the lights, the monitors, creation station, and even bringing some of the old cameras back to life. Because here's the idea. One of the coolest things is that you right now can keep connecting with other people and leveraging what you know. But you need to use where you are and the equipment that you have. So that's the reason why I start with this. You have probably a phone on your computer. And as you're watching, I'm seeing the chat right here. So like right here, so I'm watching the chat. So let me know where you're listening, where you plug it in. And if you're on Zoom, let me know also. So you have a great, powerful camera and a device that you can leverage. So the first thing that I want you to think about is use your phone. Your phone can be the first thing that you use on your studio. If you don't have anything else, all that you need is to start with your phone, and you can get a tripod. And I'm leveraging the monopod, and I will put the links to all this equipment. But here's one thing that I want to share with you. Let me show you here. So this tripod that is in here is an old tripod. So why do I share that it's an old tripod? Because the tripod do not need to be new. That's a standard size that have been created, and most cameras will leverage them. Most cameras will work with it. So you can actually connect your phone and use it as a camera. So I'm using my phone right now plugged in to our production system, and let me make sure that the music is low. And what I'm doing is that I'm sending that signal over my wireless, specifically because I have a high-speed wireless network. And that is how you bring the phone directly so you can do an event and connect it for your live streams. But one of the things that people then ask me is, Carlos, how do you mix it? We're gonna go there, but so you see, the phone is there and all the other stuff is in here. So I'm gonna be going step by step, slow. So if you have your questions, make sure that you put them on the chat so I can get this. So let me make sure I see some people here. So let me bring the other chat up. Okay. So after you start with your phone, all my audio is coming from here. But let's say that we want to bring better audio. So let me put this one down so I can then show you. Okay. So as you're watching right now, you see that I have right here my trusty sidekick, my Yeti mic. Good cup of coffee. Why do I use the Yeti mic? The Yeti mic gives me a clear sound so I can connect and leverage it without any problems. Then I also have a Power DeWise lapel microphone. And you're gonna say, Carlos, why two? Let me switch to this camera so we can talk. you are listening to me from here. So I want you to see the difference on the quality of the audio. So you can see that there's a difference on how that microphone captures the audio versus how this captures the audio. And the Yeti mic, I did a complete video on how to plug it into your computer, how to leverage it, how to do the whole thing. And one of the most important things is that when you leverage the Yeti gives you a great quality. So you can put it close to you and then you can do everything that you need to do. And one of the cool things is that then you can decide if you want to have someone else with you. That's the reason why I have that lapel mic. So this lapel mic, one of the things that it allows me to do is that I can actually just clip it on me so I can have a cleaner sound without anybody else. Or I can actually just leverage it so when my wife is with me in here. Because sometimes I do videos with my wife, so I could do it here, I could do it downstairs, in the kitchen, whatever. And the reason for these are very inexpensive. This is just a Power Device lapel mic, and I will put the link like I mentioned. And the cool thing is that it let you switch your audio. So I'm gonna just clip it right now, and I'm gonna flip mics so you can see a difference. So now you can hear the lapel mic, and you're gonna see that there's a little bit of a different sound on it. And I can customize then the correct equalizer or anything that I want based on the person that I'm using. So when she's speaking, I will change it so it will sound differently. And you'll say, well, that's right there. There's mic, the camera. I didn't acquire all this at once. This is equipment, and that's a cool thing about live streaming or doing a video or something, that you can leverage your equipment for the longest time and it will still work. You just need to add sometimes a new piece of gear so you can then leverage it on the new way. And that's something that I'm going to be showing you with how to bring then a digital camera or a DSLR, probably you have some of them, and how to use them with your production. Okay, so after I finish with deciding which mic I want to use, I'm gonna go back to the Yeti mic. Okay, so now we're back on the Yeti. One of the reasons that I like the Yeti is that I can move, and I like to move when I'm doing something and I don't want anything doing any noise, and that gives me a great quality. I'm using the Yeti Pro Studio, and I bought this mic probably 5 or 6 years ago, and it still captures awesome sound, and it gives me the options to do everything that I need. So getting all this equipment together, getting everything running, you need to run this somewhere. So I'm gonna bring up a quick diagram so you can have an idea of what it is. And it's just so you can have an idea. Here I have different monitors for this, and there you go. Okay. So this is the diagram of what we are using right now. And the whole idea is we want to have the best possible output for your stream, or if you're gonna do this through Zoom, you're gonna say, wait. And you're gonna see how we're gonna do it. So just give me a second. Because you wanna be able to create the image and the video that Zoom gonna receive. Zoom send the signal differently from the camera than from a screen share. So when we want to present high quality, we cannot do screen share. You need to do a video signal. So that's why all this setup, I sit down and say, hey, how can I do it from one side to another one? So the first thing is that you need a computer. And that's why this one right here, I'm using a Lenovo tower that have a Xeon CPU, and I will put all the specs on that. But it need to have at least 4 cores or more. And the reason for this, the easiest way to describe it, you're technically running like a game for your live stream or for your events. So right there, you need to be able to process everything. Like if you were playing a game, like if you were playing Fortnite, the computer that your kid will play Fortnite, that's exactly what you're gonna need to do what I'm doing right here. And there are 3 monitors for a specific reason. Let me bring this guy on. Come on. So the camera decided to fail me, and that's why you need to have a second battery. So let me go back to my mobile device. Okay, so now you are seeing me through here. So the reason why I have 3 screens, and for your event or anything that you're gonna do, if you see I'm presenting on this screen, there's nothing else on for me. My left is presenting. So I can present, I can see what I'm doing, how someone will see it remotely. The middle screen will be the screen that I will be using with whatever program I'm using to stream or to send the signal. In this case, I'm using Vimix, but that could be OBS, that could be StreamYard, that could be whatever program. It's on the middle screen because I'm facing forward. I don't wanna, when I'm looking at the camera, I don't wanna switch. You see? See, I wanna look directly to the person that I'm talking to. Then the last monitor, let me be here. You see, that monitor will be running something else that I may need. In this case, because I'm doing this as a live and Zoom event, then I have the people that are coming through Zoom on that monitor. I'm also having my separate chat window so I can see it completely separate and I don't get lost. But you probably can start with 2 screens, but 3 will be a better option because in that way you have a separate area. For example, if I'm doing just a Facebook Live, then I have the Facebook Live window on the side, so I make sure that I can see how it works and everything is working okay. So let me flip back to the front camera. Can you hear me now? Yep. It looked, yep. When we switched, the mic got off. Okay, so back. We have the Logitech Brio 4K camera. You see, live, so sometimes one thing moves from another one. So I'm using the Logitech Brio 4K, not because I'm gonna stream on 4K. To stream on 4K, you need a lot of equipment from a processing that raw 4K video and sending it out. The reason that camera is the best one, and that's why it was one of the first ones that disappeared from the market, is because the lenses that have inside allow you to capture really good image at low light. So that makes your streams, your Facebook Lives, your videos that you're gonna use for recording, make them extremely crisp and clear without anything else. And you don't need like a brand new computer to be able to use it. I have a Brio 4K that I'm using with an old Mac Air 13-inch that I think that is a 2012. That is USB 2. And as soon as I plug the camera, image goes completely crisp and clear. So that's one of my best recommendations is if you can get the Brio 4K. I know that in some places they're out of stock, but get on the wait list. If you can get that camera, that will solve probably 90% of the problems with image that it doesn't look good, that the angle, the light, and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So then the second thing is that that camera also includes great microphones. So if you haven't invested on a Yeti mic or on a lapel mic and you just get the camera, if I have to choose between audio and video, audio will be my first choice. But if you have the built-in camera that look really bad, I would say invest on the Brio 4K because the mic automatically gonna improve the quality. I have even used it just to do recordings just with the microphone there. Okay. So then, when you're doing everything, and I'm gonna take you slow, step by step. Let's say that you have like a digital SLR camera, that it will be something like a Canon T6i or a Panasonic Lumix or something like that. That will bring then the opportunity that I can switch to something like this, that I'm using the Lumix G7, that allow me to then get a better image, and I can change the lens. So you see right away a big difference in that the background is starting to get a little bit blurry, and that's on purpose. Because with the Lumix, I have a video lens that is a Leica 818 that it gives me the option to keep the person in front in the zoom and then the people on the background or whatever is in the back to start doing what is called a bokeh effect. That is that it removes a little bit, so it will blur it a little bit and it gives you then a better look. And then you can position your camera, get a better shot. If you look color wise, this shirt is identical to what is on the Lumix and is different than what it look on the Brio. And it's not that the Brio is a bad camera. Again, color correction is something that is a little bit of a science, but to make it easier, when I found that camera after testing a bunch of them, I loved it to be able to do live streamings or recordings because it actually can record on 1080p, but also in 4K. So when I'm actually shooting, I can shoot at 4K. Then you're gonna say, how are you bringing that signal in? Let me show you. Okay, so we're taking a trip and I wanna show you something. So this guy that is in here is an Anthem Mini. That means that from Blackmagic, I can bring any signal that is HDMI and I can put it into the web camera of my computer so you can see it. So I use this Anthem Mini, as you can see, it has 4 different inputs. What that allows me to do is that I can have that Mac, I can bring it in, I can bring this camera that is in here, this guy, I can bring that guy that is in there, all by just switching a button. Because in here, I can just switch a button. And you're gonna tell me, Carlos, that looked like a professional production. And to that degree, what Blackmagic has done is bringing the professional switchers that they have for TVs or big productions into a portable way to get it. These are $295 when I bought them. And I checked them the other day. Some places are putting them up, but $295. And all you have to do is plug it into your computer. I actually got someone else doing it this week, and they just got them, and they're plugging them in. just with the cable, and they're moving forward. So the cool thing about them, let me switch to my main camera again. The cool thing about those Anthem switches is that you can configure them to have different effects in the switch. So it makes your production or your live stream extremely easy. So you don't have to be worrying about it, or that you don't need to say, well, I don't know how to do it. All you have to do is press a button to switch. And you can bring, like I said, a digital camera. And here is why I like that Lumix. Not all digital SLR cameras work. A regular video camera like this, let me show you. So this is a prosumer, this is a 4K camera. First thing, it's big and heavy. And they have an HDMI output, you see? This can be plugged in to any switcher, no problem. They send the signal, and you're good to go. But that guy is a little bit more on the pricey. It's heavier. To put it somewhere is difficult. But then what you do is that with a digital SLR, you look for something that have what is called a clean HDMI output. G7s, Panasonic G7s, G5s, the Sony A5100, 5300, 6300, they all have the option to configure the output as a clean HDMI. So when you do that, then you can have a webcam through the A10 Mini. If you don't have an A10 Mini, you can have a capture card. That will be something like Elgato Camlink or the HD60, or you can actually then use also something like the AGA HDMI capture that get you the same option, but it's only one. The beauty of this is that for the price, you can have 4 different inputs. And at the beginning, you're gonna tell me, you know, one is enough. And I don't know you, but always more is better. I need more coffee. So let me get it. And again, as we're doing this as a lunch and learn, leave me your comments if you have any questions for everything. And you're gonna say, Carlos, but why do I need 4? And here's the kicker. And I mentioned that Zoom did not handle screen sharing very well. And sometimes if you're sharing a video on a live stream, it looked choppy. Because when you do it over a computer, it actually gonna look like a screen, and a normal human being gonna have a refresh rate of probably 15 to 20 frames per second. But we're used to watch TV, at least here in the States, that is about 24 frames to 30 frames. When you do a Zoom session, that changes because it makes the video very choppy because it lowers the frames. So what we have to do is that we have to bring that video as a video signal. Wow, we're gonna do magic. No, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna use a software like right now I'm using vMix to do all my mixing, but you can do that with OBS. I have people doing it with Ecamm Live. And what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna play a little bit of a video from a website you probably know about, something called YouTube. So let me switch here. So I'm here on YouTube, and one of the things that I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna just play it so you can see it. And as we're seeing this, you see that the video look perfectly and not choppy. And the reason for that is that my camera plus the audio plus what is coming from that monitor. Remember that I said that I have a monitor for presenting. It's all coming in as one signal and it's going at the highest rate of 1080p, 60 frames. So on Zoom, that could look good. Or if you're doing a live stream like I'm doing right now, it's going through all my channels at the same time. So you're gonna say, okay, so how much does that cost? You can start with OBS, that is completely free. And you don't have to pay anything. It's just a little bit more involved in configuring it. If you have a Mac, then you probably want to go for Ecamm Live. That will give you a better production. But the challenge with all of the programs is how do I then mix the audio that normally an AV tech will do with getting a bunch of cables and a bunch of things, getting it to a mixer, switching and all that kind of stuff. So on a PC, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna mention to you how to do it on the Mac. On a PC, you need something called like a virtual cable. Some programs have the option to do that, other ones don't. There's a company called VB Audio that give you the capability. Let me bring this here. That I can add an output as a virtual cable. And that means that now the computer gets the audio from anything, from one end to another end, without having to convert it. So I can get a higher quality audio to come out of whatever program it goes to whatever program it goes. So in this case, if I want to send it to Zoom, I could say, send the signal from the browser directly into Zoom so you can have a good audio quality. And then I said, send it to vMix so I can then mix my audio and it could also go out to Zoom and it will go to a live stream or go to my recording. So you see right there, I eliminated. It's not that the audio person, you don't need it, but one of the questions that I got asked a lot is how can I do this from my home? And now that we cannot get together with a lot of people, how can I manage this centrally without having anyone else? So this will give you the option to be able to bring the audio at the highest quality possible and then be able to configure Zoom so you can get that capability of saying, I can get high quality audio. Okay, so now I got the cameras bringing the signal. Now I have the signal going to where it needs to go. If I'm doing a live stream, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, whoever receives the signal, give me a great audio quality that is similar to CD quality, that is 96K, could go up. Normally 64. So for the audio people, they know that it's not crappy audio. But then what happened with Zoom? Well, Zoom has a challenge when you're doing a lot of stuff. Zoom was made for meetings, not for live events. So one of the things that you have to do is that you have to configure Zoom to try to get the original audio so it doesn't have a problem. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna bring Zoom to my other screen. You can see it. And one of the things that I have to do is that I'm gonna go into the settings and I'm gonna go into audio. And what you're gonna do, wait, let me switch here. There you go. We're gonna go into the settings of Zoom. First thing is that you're gonna click advanced. When you're gonna go to advanced, we're gonna switch these first two options. Why are we gonna do that? If you're sending anything other than voice, you need to switch it. If you're just sending voice, that is, you're doing a meeting, you want those two options enabled. To give you an example, if you're recording a podcast or you're recording a video with someone, you want this to be on auto, because what that's gonna do is it's gonna take the voice of the person and try to eliminate any noises that are around them and send a clean signal. But what happens when you do that with audio? Let's say a music. That will make the audio sound crappy. So what we have to do is that we have to disable the noise suppression and intermittent noise suppression. When we disable those two options, then our audio will sound better for our event or for our live stream. Because you can also do live stream through Zoom, but that will let your music play at a higher quality. It's not gonna be like a live stream. I have to be completely honest. It's better. You can have definition. You can feel the bass. You can feel a good, so if you're doing an event or you're doing something, you can actually get good options for the music so it could sound okay. But it will not be just like a regular live stream, but it's a lot better. So we have people that have been doing that and they get great feedback from their event. Then, last but not least is that, you see, we need to illuminate what you're doing. And there are a lot of different options to do that. You can use regular lights, and I have a video that actually goes deep in how to go to Home Depot and actually get lights for your house. But one of the things that I start realizing is that you want to have a place that you can just come sit down and do your recording and look good. So one of the things that you can do is that you can get a light kit on Amazon that actually you can get it very inexpensively. Let me stop here. You can actually get an LED light kit, you can get a regular light kit. When I started, and I still have some, I love this big light bulbs. And the reason for them is that they give me great light, but then at a low watt option. So they can give you 500K, 5000K, that is very bright light at a very low wattage. But what I started looking at it is that it was taking a lot of space for me. So if you have space, you probably can go for some of these soapboxes. But one of the options that you can do is that these Daphne lights are the ones that I'm using right now. And these lights give you the capability, number one, to have a remote. So you can be sitting here and you can switch the intensity of your lights so you can look better. The second option that they give you is that you can have them on a stand or you can have them on the table. So they have two kits. One is with the table stand, the other one is without the table stand. And in that way, you can eliminate anything else. So let me switch back to our trusty back camera. So as you can see, the lights are actually just above the monitor and they're a little bit angled towards me. So they will illuminate. And one of the biggest challenges that I have had people is that depending where they position the light, they can see themselves correctly. One, because it's too bright or the computer is against the light. So here's the reason for the light. Let me move this way. So you see behind me that there's a shadow? The whole reason of the light is to remove shadows from you. Okay? So when I was on the camera in the front, I have them angled. You see, one around 15 degrees, one around 85 degrees. So I can get them removing the shadows from me. So let's switch back. Let's go back here. And as we're doing all this, keep leaving us your questions. So you can see right now, this light, thank you, Brandy. This light is capturing and removing shadows from this side of my face. This one is taking this one and removing it. So this is what is called a 2-light kit. This is what is called a 3-light kit. That is, you have one in the front and you can angle them at different sides. So when I do a green screen, that I have full green screen, then I need more lighting, because the idea of a green screen is removing the background. And that will be a completely different video, because we need to set up then everything in a different way. But the whole idea is that you can see that you probably have a lot of the different pieces of this equipment right now in your house. And you probably have said, well, I cannot do it like so and so. You probably saw somebody on YouTube, you went to a live event, or you follow someone and you want to do it the way they do it. Let me tell you one thing. The way that they got to that place is because one day they started with what they had. And that's when I mentioned that you can start with your trusty phone as your first option. You can start with the phone, so you can then from there graduate to something else. But you have to start with what you have right now. So for Zoom, you need a webcam. If you're gonna do a live stream, then you can also start with your phone, but then you can up your production with different things. Like if you got in early, you saw that I had a counter, and that counter actually was a rotating spinning wheel. So those assets will be available if you wanna get some of them, so you can support us. But you don't need to do all that. You can start what you are. And here's one of the things that if you are doing a live event, if you're watching and you're at church, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a coach, if you're a speaker, the most important thing is not the transitions. It's not that you can show the screen. It's that people can see you and that you can connect with them. That you can then share what you know, and that you can help them where they are to move to the next step. So my friends, to those that are on the stream will stop here. If you want to know more about what's gonna come after this, make sure that you leave me a comment or send me a message to our platforms so I can let you know how you can get access to the rest of this video. So my friends that are on the stream, we'll see you on our next video. Okay, so now everybody that is here is just the people that are on the Zoom session. So I'm gonna open a couple of Q&As and let me go through here. So I have okay, so I have a quick question right now for input. No, so the Brio goes directly into the computer through a USB cable. The monitors go to the computer. So the anthem is completely open for your cameras. For example, the digital SLR, the video camera that is in the back, you can bring another computer, and those inputs are all HDMI. Then I have another question. Can you mute the YouTube video? Okay. Yep. Let me sure that we have then the audio on the list here. There you go. Okay. So some of the monitors. So one of the challenges, and that's why I put the different monitors, and that some of the graphics depend on the monitor, and Zoom will change the resolution. So one thing that I have looked at is that your production need to be exactly the same. So if you're gonna bring something in, like I'm doing right now, so when I share my screen, I bring it at 1080p, so then I can share it at that resolution. If you have different resolutions, that your camera is not 1080p and your monitor is, you want to change the resolution, so then it will look at the correct. So if it's 720, you want a 720. So everything will look the same. So Zoom doesn't have to be flipping back and forth. Okay, we have another question here. Yes, so one question is about the two lights on the glare. One thing that if you look, my glasses, I'm not getting any reflection from the lights, and that comes from designing how you're gonna position your glasses. And one of the things that I do is that I actually put them higher than my eyesight and then angle them down. You want them showering over you, so then you can have them taking that shadows out, so the camera can capture you correctly, and in that way you don't have the problem. Am I using two PCs, one monitor? No. So I'm using, this one is actually one single PC. The one on the back, let me switch here. Okay, so that guy is our editing station. So that one is a completely separate PC, but the one that I'm doing the streaming and all this is a single PC. This is all controlled by one PC. This is a Lenovo workstation. Like I mentioned, it's a gaming computer. And the computer has 3 outputs. So you can actually get it out. And the reason that I have a Lenovo is because their workstations are extremely powerful. They are very reliable. It's technically like a full server, so you have a lot of capabilities. And I have a lot of memory, so I can then render like all the loops and everything, so it can handle everything. So you can do that with other computers. But if you think about gaming, you can do it. But let's say if you have a Mac laptop, let me go there and show you what you could do with that. So let's move in here, and let's say that you have a Mac laptop. Well, here's my laptop, and you're seeing 2 external monitors for my Mac. These are brand new that just came out. They're called Mobile Pixel, and they are flat screens that I can add to my Mac, and they connect through a USB-C port. So I don't need anything else. I just plug them in, and I get then 2 extra monitors to monitor my live stream, to do work. So like if you're looking here, I'm doing a rendering on this side of some new assets for some of the videos. I have the Facebook Live that I was doing here. I have my email in here. So you can do a lot of it. You just need to, again, start where you are and then go from there. Then go back. Okay. Any other questions? Do we have any other questions? Let me get it here. Well, my friends, It's been awesome. Let me see. All set. Well, it's been awesome to have you with us here. I love the heart. So before I'm gonna finish the recording and then I'm gonna unmute everyone. My friends, have been awesome to have you here with us. So you can get access to this recording and to our services. You're gonna have that on the video so you can connect with us. So we'll see you on our next event.